it's me again, Ali Stevens of Get Set Colour, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide to Blending Fur. So what we're going to do today is have a look at how I choose to create fur using my alcohol markers. I'm going to be using the Tri-Blend brush nibs in the blue turquoise blend and also the illustrators in BT1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. But you can choose whichever colours you'd like to choose. So what I wanted to show you is how you can do an image that doesn't have a distinct black outline. If you're doing fur, it's actually lovely to be able to do this without the outline, because that can get behind and be in the way of those lovely flicks that you can create to make something look nice and furry. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go in with my BT1 using my fibre tip brush nib, and I'm just doing flicks around the edge where I want the outside of my little fur ball to be. Just using it as I usually do with my lightest shade, where I'm just planning where I would like my colour to actually be and sit. Now, doing this fur ball, you need to be feeling a lot more comfortable with your directional flicks, being able to flick in curves. As you can see, I tend to flick backwards and forwards myself. If you are a forward flicker or a backward flicker, you just need to move the paper around a lot more to the direction where you feel more comfortable with your directional flick. So there we go. I've put in the outline of where I want it, and now I'm just putting in a little bit around where the base of his eyes is going to be, so that part of the image is going to start to protrude. You can see just by adding that little bit of colour there, we've turned this flat image now into something that's a bit more 3D. So I'm just adding in also now with my lightest shades some of the areas where I'm wanting the highlights to be, where I know that the colour is going to be lighter, and just flicking there until I'm comfortable with where I'm going. I'm also going to just colour in his feet and legs, just so it's a nice smooth blend there, ready to go, and then the flicks that I do over the top of that is not going to get pushed back later if I wanted to colour them in with a light shade again. So now I'm going to move up to my next shade. I'm actually going in with my BT9, so I'm doing my fur a little bit differently to how I do my hair and my fabric. I've gone in with my darkest shade now, and I'm just going to go in and go around the eyes. I'm going to put a little bit of a smooth blend in where I'm wanting the deeper shadows to be. If you tend to put the deeper dark ones around eyes, you'll see that they start to pop more. Now this is going to be the scary bit, but I'm going in with this darkest shade again, and I'm just placing flicks where I'm wanting my shadows to be. So I've decided that the light source for my little fur ball is coming from the upper right hand side, so all of the shadows on him are going to be hitting around this left hand side of him and around the bottom. You can see now I've changed the way that I'm flicking. So when you're flicking fur, you need to flick, in my opinion, in both directions. and you need to kind of overlap from where your starting point is. The reason for this is if you look at fur, what you'll see is when you have a lighter shade of fur sitting on top of a darker shade of fur, you get that fine lines coming through that. So by doing the flicks upwards, what you're managing to do is to create the illusion that you've got lighter fur sitting on top of the darker fur. So I'm now going to go in with my BT5, so that's the mid shade, and I'm just going to be putting in some background colour, a base colour if you like, so that I've got a good idea of where I'm wanting to be placing my colours when I then move on to using my illustrators. So I'm just smooth blending out that darkness around his eyes. I'm putting in some little eyebrow tufts there on the top of his eyes. And I'm also adding a little bit of a tuft on the top of his head. And then I'm just going to do some blending from that eye round and blending into the darkness that I've just put down. As you can see, again I'm going flicking forwards and flicking backwards to create that illusion of light hair actually sitting on top of dark hair. I'm also going along the over the top of the dark shade that I've just put in to give little bits of the lighter shade flicks coming off the sides of him. You can see now how the curve of your flicks is what generates the shape of the image that you're colouring. So really practice doing these flicks until you're comfortable with direction. So you can also see by putting in that mid shade over the top of the dark that I'd put down, it's pushed that backwards, making it not as stark, but that's a good thing. By using these tips, I've actually just layered down a nice base for me to work from. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of definition on that nose area. And I think you can agree that looks pretty good as it is. I could just leave it that way if I wanted to, but I wanted to show you how you can go in with the illustrators to create much more finer detail. So I'm moving in with my lightest BT1 and I'm just doing some very fine flicks all the way around the edge up the top, just so you've got some little bits coming off the edges. And I'm also filling in the centre part between his eyes with flicks. Also going to have a few fine stray hairs coming off the edges in the lighter shade. These little bits of hairs that pick up the light. Just adds that little bit more detail to your image. And then I'm going in again and going from underneath the eyes, really putting some fine details into that highlighted area that's sitting along the middle. Don't want it to be left a stark white in the end, wanting to have little elements of fur in there so that you can actually see that it's a furry texture inside. So I'm just filling that in. And as you add more flicks, you're actually adding more pigment, and so you're creating a little bit more depth to that shade. So now we're going back to the method that we were using with the fabric and the hair. I'm actually going up through the colours because now I'm wanting that finer detail. I'm not wanting to use the dark first because anything that I put on top of that is just going to push it backwards and I'll lose that definition. So I've now gone on to BT3 with my illustrators, and I'm just putting nice little flicks around where that mid-tone is. So that's between the eyes, above the eyes, putting a few stray flicks around the top and coming off the sides again, extending it out just a little bit where those little fine hairs around the edges will be catching the light. And I'm flicking in both directions again, you can see. So I'm going outwards from the eyes there, outwards from the outside of the body, but then inwards towards the body. And remembering that you can do this if you can only feel comfortable flicking in one direction by just turning your paper around. So there we go. I'm just going to be extending out that mid-tone level there, flicking upwards towards the body. And then also flicking downwards towards the outside of the body. So you can see back and forth, just to get that detail in. I'm then going to put some shadow underneath his eyes. Just creating a starting point line there to flick from, and then using just little curved flicks just to show that this part is kind of protruding out from underneath his eyes. So just to make sure, again, you're aware that the direction of those curves, the direction of those flicks is what's going to give your image its shape. So if you're not sure what the shape of the image that you're colouring is in 3D, just have a look at some pictures on the internet, find something in your house that's a similar shape, and then you can see how that curve goes. You can see what direction you should be going in. So now I'm doing this back and forth technique just over the top there, and that will just bring it all together into the centre. So I'm moving now on to my next shade up, so the next darker shade, the BT5, and I'm going to move along this area where I've decided where the shadows are going to be. I'm also going to redarken the areas around the eyes. That light shade that I've been putting down has pushed that backwards, but also when your alcohol colours dry, they actually dry lighter than when you first put them down. So what you can do if you're wanting to deepen a shade using the same colour is you can actually wait until that particular part has dried and then go back over again with the same colour, and that pigment will then sit on top of that rather than blending in with the juiciness of the alcohol below. So you can get beautiful definition using the same coloured pen depending on how long you leave it before you add an extra layer. So there we are, I've just darkened around the eyes a little bit more with that mid shade. That gives the impression that the eyes are sunken into this fur. It's not sitting on top of the fur, they're actually in the middle and the fur's coming from them. And then I'm just going to work along that line that I have. I'm working, flicking upwards, as you can see, into that highlighted area, and I'm just going to flick towards the inside of the body to create that illusion that you've got lighter fur sitting on top. There we are. Try to keep these flicks a little bit shorter so that I'm not completely covering the colour that I just put down. But if you're nice and random about your flicks so that they're not all the same length, then they will look nice and natural. Now you can see there that there is a definite line where I've been starting those flicks from. So what you're wanting to do now is flick in the direction backwards, the other direction from that line, and not to worry too much about it, because what we're going to do is we're going to add our darker colour over the top of that, and that's what's going to merge all of that together. Again, just putting in also a few little stray hairs in that shade as well, just in the areas where it's in shadow. So now we're going to work on getting this shadow area nice and dark. So we're going in with the BT7, darkening up those shades there around the eyes, just putting in some very fine short flicks, just so you've got that nice little definition coming in from there. Also just darken up where the shadows would be underneath the eyes, the few little short flicks around that area as well. and then just darkening up slightly between the eyes. And then I'm going to work along this shadow line that we've created. So I'm working along, flicking towards the body and also away from the body, working along this imaginary line that we have, using shorter flicks this time, but you can see we're working along the line and working over where that defined line has developed from our forwards and backwards flicking. So by flicking over the top of where that point is, you're going to disguise the fact that you've had a beginning point to your flick that you've just put down. And then also a few stray hairs around the outside where the shadow would be. So we're going to go in with the deepest colour now that we've got. So this is the BT9. And here is where there's going to be a little bit of a difficulty. You'll be able to see I'm going to flick downwards here along this imaginary line of where this shadow is coming from. So that's giving the illusion of fur coming downwards from the base of this body. But as you flick, you can see that your starting point of your flick is fatter than the end point of your flick. So it starts to look as if this fur is coming from the top of the other fur, which is not what we're wanting to look like. We're wanting it to look like that the fur is sitting on top of each other, like natural fur does. So you can see there along that line, what I've tried to do is, instead of having them all going along a straight point, so coming from a straight point, I've made my starting point line a little bit up and down, so it's not so clear that they're all coming from the same point. To now further disguise that fact, we're going to be flicking upwards towards the body, and we're going to be doing the same technique. So instead of going from a imagined line, we're going to make that imagined line a bit zigzaggedy, uppy down, that we're flicking from. So that defined point, starting point, is not as clear. But we're keeping these flicks a lot shorter now, because we're not wanting to go all the way up into this highlighted area in the centre of the body that we've made. So there we are. I'm just flicking in towards the body, towards the eye now. And you can see that's helped to change that line in the middle. But what a technique that you can do now to really try to disguise that starting points is this forward backwards flick, where if you're just going, it's a nice flick where you're just going up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back, so that it actually is no distinct starting point to it. It means that when you do this flick, you have a fine tip at both your starting point and your finishing point. So that's something you can practice on a spare piece of paper. But just by doing this along where you were starting your down flicks and starting your upward flicks, it's going to further disguise that point. So you can see there now that by doing this we have actually created the illusion that we've got lighter fur actually sitting on top of the darker fur underneath, which is the effect that you're wanting to get when you've got furry animals. So now I'm going to work on the eyes, and I'm further darkening the area around the eyes to make them pop. And I'm just going to put some darkness, some darker flicks in, going around the eyes again, just so that they're looking sunken into this fur rather than sitting on top of it. So you can see, even though I do flick forwards and flick backwards, I still move my paper around so that I'm in a position where I'm comfortable with the direction of the flick that I'm wanting to do. This is actually a Totally Tiffany drawing board that I've got here, and it just helps me keep my colouring in the same position. You can actually clip it to the board, but it helps me just very smoothly and quickly move my paper around. And I'm just adding a few darker hairs there for the eyebrows. And then we're going to have a go at working on the legs. We're just going to add a few little stray hairs coming off his legs so that they don't look a little bit strange with this big massive furry body but no fur on his feet. So I'm just going to do the same process. I'm just going to go up through the shades from the lightest to the darkest, and when you're doing creatures like this, if you try to concentrate on making the areas between the toes darker and the tips, so the tips of the toes, keeping them lighter, then that will create added depth. So here we go, I'm just shading in between the toes there, around the heel, and then along the edges of the legs as well. When you're colouring in the legs, now you need to just be aware and be a little bit careful of how much you're flicking into the darkness that you've already put down on the body, because remembering every time that you add a lighter shade on top of a dark, you're actually pushing some of that darkness back. So what I'm doing here is I'm just being extra careful when I'm going upwards towards that body. But you know, I can always go back again with that dark and recover over the top again if I do push it back by accident. So just going in with a darker shade again, and I'm just smooth blending slightly down the centre parts of the legs, giving them definition, a nice shadow, and also between the toes again, and then just doing a few flicks from the toes just so they aren't as stark and unfurry like the rest of him. Same again now with the darkest, with the BT9. You can see I am going back into the body just a little bit, just to do any finishing touches. I'm actually going in up that black line of the leg that you can see, just to show you can see the leg coming out from underneath the fur, but then also putting some dark flicks back into that body, just adding any particular touches where I feel as if things are needed to change just slightly. Just rework it until you feel comfortable with what you've done. And there we have our little blue fur ball. I'd love to see yours. If you want to post your images to the forum or send me them in messages, I'd love to see what you've come up with. If you have any questions, please put them to the forum. I'll be going in and answering any that you may have, and answering any questions you may have about how to improve what you've done so far. Keep practicing, keep going. The more you do, the better it will be. As you can see, the first image that I did there, that was the first time I coloured him, and I've used that as a guideline, but I actually much prefer the second time that I've done it. So what we're doing now is we're just going to colour in his eyes to finish that off in a nice complementary colour. I've gone with the AGs, I think here, yes, the AG colours, Alpine Greens. Just be aware that when you're colouring in the eyes, I've left a little highlight section, so make sure that you keep that highlight nice and white, and that will give your eyes some life to them, makes them look as if they're moist. And so I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope that it's been educational for you, and hopefully we'll see you again at the next tutorial. You take care, and bye bye.